So what is the primary about? If you're going to boil it down to its core, to its essence, what is the Republican primary about? What are they fighting for?
I think most of them are vying for a cabinet spot. They're vying for media and to stay relevant. I think Christie is trying to stay relevant, get media, build up, I guess an email list and some donor lists, basic things to keep their brands going. I think a few others are vying for a cabinet spot. And I think then there's this other, this third group, which DeSantis is leading, where they're simply trying to create this neo-never-Trumpism. They're trying to replicate the strategies from 2015, 2016, and they're trying to take down Trump any way they can, to sabotage Trump, to divide the party, and to basically, force Trump, to have to fight out this fight that doesn't need to be fought, because he's overwhelmingly the leader of the party. The overwhelming majority of Republicans support him, approve of him, and they want to see him be the nominee. And he's obviously the best candidate to do so based on the only quantitative data we have, which is the polling. So I see it's one of the final, fights. Maybe the boss battle, if you will, where the establishment is using their last breaths to take out Trump and Trumpism, because they realize, if he were to win again, it would really be the nail in their coffin and the party would be fully transformed. I mean, we've been making a lot of historical analysis, but look, you look back at Goldwater, that conservative revolution back in the day in the 60s, it didn't get culminated until, Reagan came in office in the 80s. You're talking about a few decades there, where it took for the Republican Party to fully change. I think starting in 2015, 2016, the party's moving towards the populist wing, the America First wing, this sort of Trump movement. It's taking a few decades, and you even saw prototype movements like the Tea Party movement or the Liberty movement, which were sort of these grassroots, pushbacks against the establishment. So we're seeing, a multi-decade fight play out, but I think Trump has expedited everything, and because of that, this primary is getting extremely heated. It's getting extremely vicious, and I think they know they're failing and they're losing, and that's what kind of explains a lot of their rhetoric and a lot of their psychology, especially from their influencers and surrogates online, because Trump is so dominant, and they didn't expect him to be so dominant. They really thought that the indictments would take him down rather than make him a martyr, and rather than clarify that he is really the only threat against the establishment. And people saw the polling, say back in December of last year, where things were neck and neck, and they said, "Oh, Trump's done, Trump's over," and they made a stupid bet. Like many people make stupid bets, and they constantly bet against him, and they always underestimate him, and he always proves to be able to come back, to punch back harder and stronger than ever before. And that's really what we're seeing right now in this primary. And I think ultimately, a lot of the donor class, a lot of the consultant class type people, they really did believe, and they convinced people like DeSantis that Trump will be indicted, he'll be thrown in jail, his campaign will be destroyed, and you'll be able to walk in and fill the vacuum. And that's not happening, and no one's going to allow that to happen. And I think right now that's their only viable strategy. He's been campaigning for over a month, approaching, I guess, 2 months now, and he's seen no discernible movement upward in the polls. In fact, he's been declining in the polls in the primary. Meanwhile, Trump has only strengthened his position, including against Biden. And I think it's very possible to make the prediction that DeSantis doesn't win a single primary state going into 2024. And I think they're going to write textbooks and essays and articles about the failings of this campaign for the decades to come. But Trump is the invincible, political force. He knows no equal, and I think he's going to emerge stronger from this. And I love the idea of him returning to the White House with a vengeance and with a fire, and without the the thought of a re-election, so he can do what he needs to do and clean up what needs to be cleaned up, and bring about an American national renewal, which he was doing quite effectively during his first term. So I'm looking forward to his second term, as many others.
He's definitely got some unfinished business to clean up. So, Gavin, thanks for joining us.